Welcome to Blackboard Tips and Tricks with Professor Ron. Today, I wanted to take you through some frequently asked questions that I get in my college courses. Now, before I do that, I want to show you where students can access educational resources like, okay, I need to know how to do this assignment, or I need to know how are we going to use this particular app, program, or software in the class. So I'll navigate and show you a couple things. All right, I'm going to change the share screen. Okay, I'm going to share a new tab with you. Okay, so you're seeing my Professor Ron YouTube channel, and the purpose of this, I'm going to scroll down so that I can show you if you're a student in one of my courses, or if you're a student in really anybody's course that uses any of these apps, software, or maybe these videos are helpful for somebody, anybody, anywhere and everywhere. As I scroll down, you're going to see I have all kinds of cool stuff. I hope it's cool. But Blackboard Tips and Tricks with Professor Ron for college students. And so here, if you're wanting to know what does the professor see in Honor Lock, you can watch that video. If you want to know how do I do the music and video journal assignments in my course, I go over that in the Welcome to Music Appreciation video. If you want to know, okay, well, what about Padlet? You want to know how to use Padlet? I've made that video and posted it here. So you can watch that. Now, if you use Lockdown Browser, we don't use that anymore, but I've made those videos a while ago. And if that pertains to students pretty much anywhere and everywhere, hopefully those videos help somebody. We now use HonorLock, but this basically is the list of like, how do you do the assignments, how do you use the apps and software, etc. If you're in my American music course and you want to know how do I do the music and video journals in Mr. Schermerhorn's American music course, just go through the video and I break down how to do the assignments, how to upload them, options for submission, topics, grading rubrics. I give everything you need to know on that. The Honor Lock for students is really more so like how to use it step by step, how to scan your room for Honor Lock. The earlier video is just going through what the professor sees after you actually do it, so you know kind of, hey, this is what's going on. Now, the accommodations and exemptions are important because everyone wants to be exempt from the final exam, or they need an accommodation that they've been approved for. And it's like, well, what does that look like in the gradebook or in Blackboard? And so I have a video on that as well that you can watch if you need to. Now, if you're new to Blackboard, or maybe you're a seasoned veteran, you just want to know, how do I submit an assignment? How do I access a Pronto? How do I send an email? The Blackboard Learn Ultra course navigation, basically mastering Blackboard course navigation step by step for students of any and all ages at any point, whether you're a veteran and you're just rusty, or you're brand new. Either way, and maybe even for seasoned veterans that know tons of stuff, goodness, maybe there's something new in there, but this should help students figure out how to use Blackboard. The Edpuzzle one is important because I do, like if you're taking my hybrid class or my online class, and I'll do this in face-to-face sometimes as well, where Edpuzzle will lock in a video that you got to watch, from YouTube or whatever the platform is, but I'm Edpuzzle on YouTube, and you got to watch it from beginning to end. And you have to make sure when you get to the end of the video that you actually submit it. So this is a very short video on like, hey, when you're doing Edpuzzle, just make sure that you follow these steps so that it actually gets turned in and you get the credit for it. The audio and video Blackboard, this is for students that are studying STC music majors, audio video engineering, these kind of things, or just how to record themselves, whether it be for YouTube or video audio things for concerts, these kind of things. So applicable to STC music students. Okay, so this is basically the running list for college students. So before I get into the FAQs, I just wanted to make sure to show you there's resources here. And I have other resources as I come down and open this up, checking the screen share so you can see it. You can also see I have Pronto for students, video assignments in Blackboard, my Teach to Inspire, and then right now I have the live, all the way down here. I'm live streaming. I'm gonna go ahead and move this up just Okay, and then I'm going to head back. We want to get back to the class in just a moment. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to go to the class and I'm going to show you a few things. So let me change the screen share. So that's basically your educational resources in terms of how to do the assignments and how to use all the apps. Now back to the nitty gritty of why I'm here today. I'm going to change the share. Okay, so I'm going to share the course. All right. Okay, double checking the share. So now that you see I'm sharing music appreciation, MUS Site 1306, this is my developmental shell. And I'm not going to share a live class. I want to be careful about that. Well, sometimes I might share a live class, but if I do, I need to make sure, I always make sure not to show any private, confidential, or student information. But in this case, I'm showing my developmental shell, the class that's basically set up to launch for fall 2025. Now, the things I'm going to show you here are things that are going to be applicable, whether it is a fall semester, a spring semester, summer 1, summer 2, summer 3, and doesn't matter what year it is, whether it's we're talking 2025, 2026, or the year 2038. Now, obviously, I'd probably have to make a new video at that point. But I want to show you, not spend hours and hours of course navigation, just, okay, what are the pitfalls? What are the Q&A? What am I getting a lot of emails like today, yesterday? Like what in the past few weeks and months, but particularly the past few days, and since really summer started, the kind of emails that I'm getting are simply this. I'll have a student ask me, how do I do the assignments and what's up with all the applications? How do I use all that? And so that was the first thing that I showed just a minute ago. Students are asking me, like, how do I get an A, or how do I do the assignment, or how do I use this app? So what I just showed you over here was basically answering. If you want to know how to do all the assignments or how to use the apps, you can find it over here. Okay, so if we get to another big question, it would be students need to meet with me during office hours, and they're not sure how to do that. So if you need to meet with me during office hours, it's super simple. Whether it's whatever the case may be, it's an emergency, you need help with technology, you have a question about an assignment. All right, so if you're in Blackboard, just go to the Start Here module, and you're going to go down to Welcome. Once you get into the Welcome area, scroll down and find where it says Zoom Online Office Hours. Now, of course, you can come to my office, Portable Building 28B, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. That's my office hours for it. For June. It'll be adjusted for July and the fall semester. It will be around that time. I have to adjust. This is a placeholder for now, but for June, I am in these office hours, 8:30 to 10 a.m. And even now, it's past 10:30. I'm here actually longer, doing projects or practicing or whatever. So either way, stop by the office anytime you want on published office hours and just knock on the door and you're good. Or you can send me a pronto text message. Or if you want to sign up for virtual hours, just click. Now, when you click that, let me share the screen so you can see it. Okay, so now you see the office hours screen. All you got to do is go, okay, cool. I want to meet with Mr. Schermerhorn on, June 18th. And just go over here and you put in your, all your information. I'll put in your information, whatever your email is. I'll just throw something in there and then put in class information. It's really that simple. Just, excuse me. So I just put in my name, email address, class information, MUS Site 1306 V01, and then you just register. You discount, double check, cool, I'm good with the day. Now, if I get multiple students signing up on that day, obviously it's a time span timeline. I approve your visit manually if it's a Zoom. If you just want to knock on my door, cool, go for it. Knock on my door anytime you want. If it's on published office hours, send me an email during office hours. Send me an email pretty much 24/7. You can send me emails anytime you want. You can pronto me during regular daytime hours or pronto after hours posted. Just follow all the office hours rules and you're good, but email is pretty much any time. And in this case, if I get multiple students in that timeline, I would just send you an email back and say, hey, I'm meeting with this many students. I can meet you for a window at such and such time, but just getting your name on the list is important. And all you got to do is register and just check that email, and you're good. You have successfully registered. I know this seems like a real simple thing, but I think we're missing this. A lot of students are like, how do I get in your office hours? Knock on the door. Come on the main campus, knock on the door. I'm here. If it's published, I'm here. Send a text message through Pronto to our regular daytime hours, and Pronto I have after hours. You can send messages too. And you need help, you want to talk about an assignment or the content or whatever, cool. Let me come back to the back to that tab. All right, checking the share tab. Okay, cool. So I'm readily accessible. So that's a big thing, is just how do I come see you during office hours? Knock on the door during published hours? I don't know where it is. Send me an email. Happy to send you a map. Can I text you after hours using Pronto? Pronto secured messaging? Yes, absolutely. Just look at the syllabus to find those hours, and you're good. Okay, so hopefully that helps a little bit in terms of signing up and the basics there. Now, let me get to another frequently asked question. We've talked about the how-to videos and assignments and apps. We've talked about office hours. What about due dates? I get asked this all the time. There's a huge confusion on due dates and how this all works. Let me show you real simple. Okay, so you want to know when your assignments are due. All you have to do, I'm going to change something on my end here. Okay, checking the share. All right, cool. So you want to know when stuff is due, just go to the gradebook. And let's see. You can see I have myself as a preview user here. I can go to overview. This is going to be for me, gradable items. And hopefully it works. So if I'm in the gradebook, it's going to show you everything. So you see the gradebook where I've got the practice quiz, the how-to videos, Edpuzzle. Now the how-to videos for Edpuzzle, those are how to complete all the assignments and how to use all the apps in the course. So in my hybrid and online courses, and sometimes in face-to-face, I'll assign these so that it minimizes or reduces, the bazillion emails and text chats that are asking me, how do I do this assignment? What I was showing you earlier on my YouTube channel is how you can access that without Edpuzzle if I'm not requiring that, or if you needed to watch it again. But typically in my classes, if it's all online, I'm going to have you watch those as part of the class to help smooth out, to get to the meaningful questions. So hopefully that helps right there, but that's what that is. But if you're going down, you see all the lectures, you see all the due dates, you see how they're all labeled in terms of assignment, journals, what they all are, Padlets, discussions, quizzes. So it's showing you all the due dates, but I get this can be kind of confusing, and it's like, whoa, maybe it's information overload. Okay, I understand. We'll go back to content. Check the share tab. We're good on that. So if we're back on the main page, splash page, content page, then all you really need to do is when you navigate here from content, go to calendar. And this might not be very helpful. So what if I just click due dates? And then boom. Now, you can do month if that helps you, although I would recommend on the calendar, go to due dates. And I think having it here, there you go. Yeah, clicking around a little bit. If I have it on due dates and day, I think this might help you out a little bit more. Now, it's totally up to you whether you want to do due dates and day or due dates and then change it to month. I mean, obviously, because we're not there yet, this is for the next semester. Now, I can do this. You see what it does right there, like October. I keep going. You're not seeing a bunch of due dates everywhere because in my class, I use modular due dates with conditional release. And that's the next big question is students don't quite understand my flow in terms of due dates. What are modular due dates? What is conditional release? How come I can't see all the assignments? Okay, so let me get to that question because it's a very important thing to be answered for sure. Now, I want to go back to month. And I'm going to hit back to September. I'm going to hit day, due dates. Okay, so you see September 2025. All of my stuff is rolling there, yeah. As I said, I'll say it quite a few times. It doesn't matter whether this is fall, spring, summer 1, 2, 3. My course flow is the same. The difference would be is if it's a 5-week course versus a 7-week course versus a 16-week course. And surely, certainly, I'm going to add or change out topics and or lectures, new assignments, edited assignments, new and different lectures. But a lot of my flow is pretty similar, and we're always trying to improve it and make it better. But I think you can, you might think like it's a waste of time to listen to me do this or watch a video explaining stuff, but honestly, you got to take time to save time. If you just know if you're in the content page and like, okay, if I go to calendar and I want to know when stuff is due, and you click due dates and you can make sure it's on day, it shows you. This is a huge helper, I think, to understand how to navigate stuff so you don't miss. All right, now I'm going to go back over and talk about conditional release and how all the stuff is going to work in a class, because you may not see everything. And so what I mean is, if I go to Student Preview, I'm going to click on Start Preview. Check this out. Okay, and I'll make sure the Share tab is working. Okay, so I'm in Student Preview mode. So I'm the student, I'm going to the class, and I want to access something. And then I see this little message that says, content isn't available. You can't access this content right now. Please contact your instructor. And you get worried because maybe you did all the work in the previous module. Now it says it's not completed, but maybe it is, but in this case it's not. Either way, for my classes, I use conditional release, and I know the confusing thing on different devices, apps, platforms, however you're doing this, it doesn't always tell you like the conditional releases. And I know that's confusing. I'm sorry for that, but I'll try to explain that as expediently as possible. Basically, what this means is the course is locked. You need to do things in order, in a sequential, linear fashion. So you have to make sure that in the Start Here module, as a student, you've actually clicked and read everything. And then if there's assignments, like there's an assignment right here, Music Appreciation How-To Videos, Ed Puzzle, you have to do this assignment. Honor Lock Practice Quiz, you have to do this assignment. And if you miss things in any of the modules, whether it be a Start Here or Module 1 through however many modules they have, remember, you can go to the gradebook, and the gradebook's going to show you. Now, the confusing thing about this is, though, because I have conditional releases, it doesn't actually show everything in the course. And I know that can be confusing because you're like, wait, where's the rest of the work? It's only showing the work that's unlocked at the current moment. So I'll have to keep working on that in terms of visibility. Don't let this be too confusing by any means. Just make sure to do the work that's in front of you. And I may possibly change settings in the future on this, so you can kind of see. I think it would be nice to see everything while still having conditional release. Maybe that's possible. I'll need to play with the settings and tweak. Blackboard Learn Ultra is constantly revising, updating, and changing things. So the only thing confusing is I'm in student mode, I'm in student preview. There's a ton of assignments in the class. Well, not really, but there's way more than just 4. But you're only seeing what's actually unlocked. The good news is if you do all these assignments that you're currently seeing, it will unlock the next batch of assignments. There's nothing to be worried about. So keep that in mind, and I'll show you the conditional thing. Now let me come back. I'm still in student preview mode. So all you got to do is, as you go through each module, if you want to unlock all the assignments, just do the assignment that precedes it. So in this case, again, do the how-to video assignment, do the Honor Lock Practice Quiz assignment. And if you're like, wait, how do I know if it's an assignment? Well, it'll be labeled as an assignment, so you'll see it. So if you're not comfortable or familiar with the assignment icons, well, there it is right there. You see I've got my assignment. It's got an assignment icon with an X or a check. And then when you go to the gradebook, you can see Honor Lock Practice Quiz, how-to video. Like you see, okay, I've got to do these assignments, and it's got due dates. All right, so make sure you're following that. Now, we go back to Module 1, and you're like, hey, I need to get to week 3, but it says content isn't available. So in this case, we're actually seeing when I hover over content is available, it says you must earn 60% or higher on Music Appreciation Lecture 1, A World Without Music, to access this content. You move down. Okay, this one's not available. This one's not available. They're all actually supposed to have a similar message, and that'll be something I'll have to look at. But basically, all the folders are locked based on the previous lecture or assignment, depending on if it's hybrid, online, or face-to-face. So if you're seeing content is available and it doesn't tell you what you need to do, don't stress or worry about it too much. All you have to do as a student is just make sure to do the work in order. If professors are using conditional releases, do the work that precedes it. I know this is probably the most challenging thing, and doing all the work in the class is like it's not available, and I'm like lost and confused, and it can be stressful. Just follow the work. The reason for using conditional release is to make sure that students aren't jumping around, to keep the flow happening in the course, and of course to keep academic rigor, keep the standards, keep it from being willy-nilly, just to keep it organized, honestly, and make sure someone's not just jumping to the quiz before they do, assignments, or, doing week 8 before they even complete work in week 3. Certainly lots of reasons and things, but, just do the work in the order that it's presented, and, follow the rules. In my classes, if you're taking hybrid online classes, you're going to, face-to-face classes all require at-home video assignments that you'll do. But depending on whatever the class is, hybrid, online, face-to-face, there's going to be some kind of assignment. So if you see it's not available, it just means you have to do the work that will unlock it. And so each folder gets unlocked by actually doing the work in that folder. So if I want to unlock the next folder, week 3, elements of 2, or whatever week you're in, just complete the work in the folder. Just do the work, and things will unlock. So I think that's very important in terms of conditional release. Now, I'll also tell you, if I go to the gradebook, I have students in my class asking me right now, you turned in your assignment and you're like, I got a bad grade. I got a 70. I got a 50. Like, I don't understand. Like, why are you being so mean? I'm not trying to be mean. Look, there's standards in the course. There's criteria. There's rubrics. Just make sure you read all that stuff. The important things, say, like on music and video journal assignment. If I click on this, look, click on the assignment. I'm going to hit View Instructions. The really important thing to do on assignments in any college course, if you're doing a music and video journal 1, Charles Lee Brain and Improv. This is for music appreciation. Mr. Schermerhorn, should be fun. At least I hope it is. You need to make sure to go through and read, like, what is the criteria, So in a journal assignment, sharing what you learned from your active listening session is the most important aspect of the assignment. Be mindful of too much historical info in the journal. That should not outweigh your own thoughts and ideas. You are free to share things from the audio lecture, video lectures, textbook, PowerPoints, Harvard Dictionary of Music, Oxford Grove Music Online, Encyclopedia, and yes, sometimes a Google search. Sorry, I know I talk fast. I don't necessarily want to read everything verbatim, but I think it's important to make sure that you read through the criteria. So I'll let you finish this on your own. Make sure you're actually reading, what is the criteria of the assignment? What are the actual options for submission? If you're in my class, do not submit a Google Doc link. If I need for Google Doc links, what I would do, say on a paper assignment, is I might request to see your versions. I might say on an assignment where I make it part of the criteria to do a paper and say Google Docs to show me the iterations or the play-by-play, day-by-day, minute-by-minute edits, changes, that kind of thing. But it's rare that I do something like that. If I put a Google Doc thing in an assignment, it's for a paper, like you're doing an actual paper in the course, and I just want to see your rough draft process, your creative process, and I might say, hey, show me your Google Doc versions. But for me to request Google Doc versions, it needs to be part of the criteria. So if you don't see anything about Google Docs or Google Doc versions, or maybe a teacher saying, hey, your paper sounds like it might be AI, and I hope that teachers would not be accusatory in that particular way. I most certainly am not. But you want to make sure that you have like your pencil and pen work of your assignments, your digital stuff, drafts of your assignments. At any rate, please do not submit Google links, Google Doc links for me to grade. Actually, follow the options for submission on the assignments. Take a picture with the cell phone, type the assignment in Word, upload PDF, draw a doodle, do an audio or video file. Text box, is great, Follow the grading criteria on the assignments, which I won't read word for word, but second attempts are typically possible if you follow the rules. And, keep an open mind, of course. Now, I do a whole video on this, so I'm not going to go through everything. But I think it's important to read the criteria. So that's the first thing I want to emphasize is actually reading the criteria of the particular assignment. Now, I'm going to come back here in a second. The other thing is, it's going to be very important, is the feedback. Now, I'm going to come back. Look at this. I'm pretending to be a student. I am the Mr. Schermerhorn Preview User student, and you're not happy about your grade, and you want to know how to fix it. You want to know what's wrong with it. You want to know, did you not meet the criteria? What's going on here? Click the view. I'm in the gradebook. Click view. Once you do that, then go read the actual feedback. While you have the main point of the video and how it relates and connects to the class, lecture, and discussion, you do not have any details. How can I get full credit for that? If you turn in your work sooner, second attempts are allowed. Okay, I'm not meaning that to come off so strict or harsh by any means, but this is an example of what did the student turn in? Wow, this is awesome. I learned that jazz and hip hop activate the language areas of the brain and so much more. It's a pretty good short and sweet answer, but you do need more details for a video that's 15 or so minutes long. That's not quite enough to get a perfect score on. And that's where you go back and look at the the criteria. All right, so read the feedback, and if second attempts are part of the gig, do the second attempts, and you'll be much happier. No reason to get emotional about a grade. Just if you get a second shot, just do it, and make it better. You'll be all right. Okay. Another one of the big questions I'm getting asked a lot in all my classes is students are doing an assignment and they don't see the proper video. Okay, so I'm still in student preview, and let me show you what's going on here. Okay, so Module 1, Elements of Music. Now, this content is not available. Let me go back to teacher mode. I'm going to save this, though. Okay, so I'm in my teacher-professor mode. And let me walk you through. So you do go to week 2, Elements of Music 1, and you go to the first assignment. This is what I mean. Make sure that you can see the share screen. Okay, so you're seeing Journal 1. Now I scroll down. So look, I'm in Music and Video Journal 1, Charles Lindbergh Brain and Improv. Okay, easy peasy. All good, right? And you see that there's a video there. Okay, cool. That must be the video I need to watch. Pay very close attention. Now I'm going to go to Music and Video Journal 2, and look what happens. Okay, it's Journal 1. I'm going to go to week 3, Elements of Music 2. And I'm going to go, it says Music and Video Journal 2, How to Truly Listen, Evelyn Glennie. Okay, everything looks good. Music and Video Journal 2, How to Truly Listen, Evelyn Glennie. I scroll down. Oh, no. That's not the right video. What's going on, bro? Okay, here's what's going on. It's a playlist. So you need to, basically learn some icons. I know it seems kind of petulant or man, I know what an icon is. I know it's really simple, but not everybody is icon savvy or YouTube savvy or Blackboard savvy, so don't take it the wrong way. It's all good. Just a lot of times we're in a hurry, and I understand. So I put a message here that says, to access all the Music and Video Journal assignments, click the playlist icon and select the video. But if you're not sure, you're in a hurry, you're just scrolling, you're just seeing it's the wrong video, because in the previous assignment, you basically see the same picture or still shot frame in all of them. So it doesn't matter if you click on Journal 1 or click on Journal 8, you're going to see the same placeholder. So what you got to do is go over here to the playlist icon, where got the 3 lines and the small little play button here, and you click it, and then they all open up. I know it seems so simple, but a lot of my students miss this all the time, and I constant emails and pronto messages on how to access the correct video. So then all you got to do is scroll through, and you can find the assignment. So the first video in the playlist is basically a placeholder for the actual playlist. So don't let that mess you up, okay? All right. See 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm not going to press play on that, but that's a a big question I get asked, and I think sometimes it might be a freak out, stress out, worried, concern, like something's wrong. I understand. It's just when we're in a hurry, it can be stressful, and if someone's in a hurry, maybe it could freak them out. But I don't want you to be stressed, worried, or concerned about accessing a playlist. I just want to show you, hey, somewhere down the line, someone might watch only 30 seconds of this video by clicking a chapter just to figure out, oh my gosh, how do I access a playlist in like 10 seconds or less? I got you. No worries. I'll include all the chapters so you're not stuck here for an hour doing this, that you watch the 10 minutes, 30 seconds, or 2 minutes that you need for the stuff that you're, struggling with or need help with in the class. Okay. So all right, still in the music and video journal. All right, I'm going to check my list because there's some other things I want to. Let me come back to conditional release in professor mode, and I'm going to show you something on the concert paper that I think is going to be really important. Okay, so in professor mode, still sharing professor mode. You're seeing the main page or the splash page, right? So always got to make sure I double check those in the live streams. Okay. Yeah, it all looks good. Now, with conditional release, if I just walk you through here, you see, let me close. I'm going to click and come back. Okay, go back to content. All right, so I have the start here is open. Module 1 is open. You see Module 2, Elvis Presley and the Beatles. If I hover over that, you need 60% or higher on the Elements of Music Honor Lock quiz. Go to Module 3, 60% or higher on the midterm exam Honor Lock to access this. Go to Module 4, 60% or higher on the quiz Broker to Honor Lock to access this. So each thing needs to be, it's like you're basically going to do the quiz from the previous module. Elements to get into this one, the last quiz to get into the midterm to get into this one, and the Broke era. But when you click a little bit further, you can see those aren't the only locks. So like on week 7, 60% or higher on Elvis Presley to get to the Beatles. Here, this gets accessed on a particular date. But when you click the midterm folder, okay, you see there, and you got the midterm. Okay, that's all good. If I go to Baroque, you see the Baroque module, 60% or higher on the midterm to get into that folder. But as you go through, once you get into the module, like the first folder is open, but to get to the additional folders, you got to complete, in this case, Lecture 7, if it's my online course. So once you unlock the main module, you have some kind of quiz and or assessment to unlock the main modules. And then once you get into the main module, the first folder will be completely open. The first folder, first week. But, the ones that follow will have locks to make sure, hey, to get to week 10, did you complete the work in week 9, basically? So in this case, Lecture 7, and in this case, Lecture 8. And that's basically the flow of the class as you continue forward. So I get so many questions on conditional release on that. If I click over to Module 4, and you see that 60% or higher on the Broke Era quiz, and of course, once you unlock the main module, the first week and or folder will be completely open and unlocked, and you can do all of that work. But once you get to the next one, the next folder, you've got to make sure that you've completed the previous work so that it gets unlocked. Again, it's just making sure that you're not just doing work from week 15 in the first week of the class. So you're not randomly doing the work. I mean, things are building upon each other, so it's just important to keep your learning flow. It's important for me to keep the teaching flow, the content flow, and important for the students for you to keep your learning flow in order. So I know understanding this might be a little bit frustrating, or like you're not clear, like, okay, why do we do this? Or like, I just want to be able to do the assignments. If you just follow the syllabus, the due dates, follow the workflow, it'll be easy. You'll have a good time. No worries on that. Okay, now I'm going to double check my list because I want to show you some things in Microsoft Word. So we've gone through, and I think we're good on everything, the journal playlist, feedback. Let's talk about the paper a little bit, because there's a paper that you need to do in the class, and then maybe I'll talk about the password issues at the end. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to show you the issues or concerns with papers in the course. MLA, Modern Language Association. So I'm going to change the share. I'm going to stop the share. You're going to see me. And I'm going to bring up a file. This will be in Microsoft Word. Okay, I'm going to share. I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to open up Microsoft Word. Let me find, get the window here. Okay, now you'll be seeing it. And I'll fix the share so you can see what's going on. I get these kind of questions so much all the time, like, how do I do MLA? What is MLA? How do I do it? How do I do, what is the heading versus a header, pagination, page numbers, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, this can ding your grade maybe in an English class. And in my class, it's not going to ding your grade too much, but you need to know, like, how do I approach? In my class, you have to go to a concert and write a formal paper in Modern Language Association. So, like, what fonts do you use? What's the spacing? What are the margins? It's really, really simple. And I give a sample in my class. So this is the sample I actually give in my class that you're seeing on the screen. And I give it in PDF format. Now I'm bringing up the docx file. Let me take a drink break here. Sorry about that, and thank you. I was trying to actually drink some coffee. So you want to know, okay, well, how do I do the heading, or how do I do the page numbers? Let me show you a few things. Okay, so you can see in terms of the MLA heading, Modern Language Association, MLA is the acronym for MLA, Modern, I know, it's like I'm repeating myself, but MLA, Modern Language Association, all you got to do is put your first and last name, Professor Schermerhorn or Mr. Schermerhorn, the class, MUSI 1306, and then your section number, if it's V section 01, 03, or if it's SP, whatever the section number is, make sure you list that. And then put the date. Now I have 12 June 2025. For the assignment, I've actually come up with some way to label it, called it Colorful Melodies. You can see that as I scroll through, all the paragraphs have been tabbed. Makes it easy for, you know, the reader, the grader, to read through it. So you see me doing kind of a slow scroll there. Yeah, the 3 is clear. Yeah, we're good. Scroll back up to last name 3. Okay, we got last name 2. And we got, you know, right here. So this is actually done as a heading. Now, it's actually part of the paper. And if I highlight that, and then I say, okay, well, how is that all formatted? Okay, so look, it's 2.0 or double spacing. And this is the very, very basic. I've got 2.0 double spacing, and your name, teacher's name, class and section, and the actual day that you do the paper. It's really that simple. So just make sure that you have this as part of the paper, and then just make sure that your spacing is correct. Now you can see in the document here, well, what font do I use? Well, I would recommend, I'm using Times New Roman 12-point font. You could use Arial if you like. There are some other fonts, but do try to keep it simple. My typical recommendation to students is Times New Roman or Arial. I'm not going to do a full live stream on the different kinds of fonts and what fonts you should or shouldn't use. But I typically recommend the most basic fonts. Like keep it basic. Whether it's Times New Roman 12-point font or Arial 12-point font, it's simple. They're standard size fonts, easy to read. So keep it simple. Don't do any bold stuff here. No bold business here. No bold business here. And when you're doing your MLA heading, make sure not to do this. I'm going to go to Insert. Let's see. How about if I go header? Don't do the heading as a header. Do the heading as a part of the paper, please. All right. When you do header, footer, page number, if you want to know, okay, well, how do I? Usually, when students have an issue with this being on multiple pages, it's because they did this. They went to the header, and they did this. If I copy this, this is what will happen. Check it out. And I suppose you could do it if you only do it on page 1, but I don't typically recommend doing it this way. But if I'm in header and I just start doing this, let's see if it'll let me. I'm going to go back. It's like I'm showing you what not to do because I know I'm going to talk about this in my class today. Actually, in a class today, I'm going to be talking about this with students. The do's and don'ts, basically. Okay, so this is what I recommend to not do. Now watch what happens. Well, in this case, because of the way I have it set up, it worked just fine. But now, I mean, it looks messy. I'd have to delete this, which I don't technically want to do. I always recommend doing this as a part of the page and not in there. But depending on how you have it set up, what can end up happening with headers and footers and all this business is this ends up being on multiple pages, and you really only want it to be on one page. So I do recommend for this, just put your page numbers there. So I typically don't recommend doing it that way. I just do the heading as a part of the paper like this. Okay. All right, so do the heading as a part of the actual paper. Like this is actually part of the main body. All right. And then for trying to get like, how do I do all this name business where I want to put my last name and the page numbers? Now, if you're just doing page numbers, you can do it like this, where it's page number, and bottom page or top page, right? Okay, cool. You dig that. And if you want to edit or change things, like you want this to be, see what it did right there, where I'm looking at, and I could, change all this. So I'm going to go ahead and take that out for a second. I'm going to close it. I'm going to go back and we're going to go to, we'll leave the format alone. Let's go to header. I'm going to remove the header. You can see it's gone now, right? Okay, easy to put back in. I'm going to save. I'm going to come back to insert. And I can do this either by the header or I can do it by the page number. I'm going to choose, if I choose page number, it'll insert it. Okay, now you see the page numbers there, page 2, page 3, but I want to put last name. So whether you edit the page number or you do this as a header, either way it's fine. That's good. Let's go header, and we're going to edit header. And I'm going to go in here. Let me fix that. Go back. And I'm just typing it in there. And I just put last name. Okay, and I left off page 1. You don't need it on page 1. So I just put last name 2, last name 3, and if I want to actually, I'm doing that as a placeholder, but if I really want to fix this correct, obviously I need to go in and header, edit header, and we'll actually put your last name, of course. And I'll do this. Okay, so now I have my last name and the page number. And if you want to adjust it further, I suppose you could. You know, some people can get kind of picky about that, like 1 space, 2 space. Just be consistent, honestly. So hopefully that helps a little bit. That's you know, one way to do it. Now, if I want to go do it the other way, where I go header, edit header, and I'm going to copy this for a second. But now I'm going to take it off. I'm going to close header footer. Okay, I'm going to go back, insert, header, going to remove header. Okay, going to go back to home, going to save. All right, I'm going to go back to insert. And now, when you do it this way, you have to do it manual. This is why I typically say do page numbers. So if I do it as, you do it like this, and you can go over and try something like, I mean, you can basically go through here. Right now. But if you don't know how to edit and tweak and change all this stuff, it just kind of will, it can become cumbersome if you're not careful. So this is why I recommend to do page numbers as page numbers and then add your name in that way. I'm going to remove the header there. So some different things that you can do. Now let's go back and we're going to edit, put the last name back in. Let's go here. And close, and we're good. All right, so that takes care of the basics of MLA, Modern Language Association, making sure that you get your 2.0 or double spacing there, have the heading as a part of the paper, make sure you've got a title, make sure you're tabbing your paragraphs, and you got your double spacing real clean. Make sure that you're starting on your second page, you know, that you've got your last name and your page number, and that it does actually change. That's going to be important. So you can see last name 3, last name 2, and yeah, I'll save this just for fun. Okay. I'll close that out, and I'll go back to the class, see if there's any other things. Okay. I'll share the screen with you so you can see content for music appreciation. All right, go back in. I think the last thing I want to show you on the frequently asked questions from my college course, and these may be questions for other professors or teachers, college courses, or anyone that's using Blackboard Learn Ultra, is you get locked out, and it's very frustrating. You have a midterm due today. Well, not really, but let's say you had a quiz due today at 5, or a midterm due by 11 p.m., or you have an assignment due tomorrow, the next day, the next week, whatever, and there's an issue with your password. Well, all you got to do, it's pretty simple. So I'm going to share this screen with you. Okay, now you're seeing South Texas College, My Password Assistant. All you need to do, I know you don't want to watch more videos. It's like I'm in a video and showing you videos. Look, if there's any kind of issue with your password, reset the password, change the password, manage your account. I tell all my students in the very, very beginning, make sure that you go through these videos in the very, very beginning, because if it expires, it can become kind of a big headache. But if you needed technical assistance, you can call the help number that's on the screen. I'm highlighting that help number, and they'll help you. You may have to wait a few minutes, maybe you have to wait a few hours. If it's Saturday night, you might have to wait till Sunday, but they'll get back to you. No worries. No reason to stress out, freak out, or worry. You're like, yes, you may get locked out of your account. Yes, it may take a few minutes. But all you really have to do is you get locked out of, you're a student at South Texas College, you're locked out of your account, a quiz is due. Well, I think the most important thing is whether it's June, July, August, fall semester, spring semester, in the very, very beginning of the course, make sure that your password is good to go, that you know the time frame of your password. And if you're not even sure, well, at least watch the videos, take a few notes, digital notes, pencil notes, whatever, or at least just know where this spot is, know where the My Password Assistant is, so that if there is any kind of issue. Now, if you do get locked out of your account and there can be an issue where it might have to be manually reset. Most times you're able to do it on your own, but if there is some kind of an issue where you just can't figure it out, or you got a quiz or an exam due, by all means, call the technical assistance, the help number, to get some help unlocking. Because there are instances where you might get completely locked out, but for the most part, with the system, that should be a rarity. It should be an anomaly. It shouldn't actually happen that much, because you can actually reset your password. You just watch these videos. I think that's a big thing. I get a lot of emails and phone calls. The quiz is due in 5 minutes, and I'm locked out of my account. Okay, did you go to My Password Assistant? So I just think this gets kind of lost sometimes for students. So just make sure, if you're having issues with your password, you're locked out of your account, you can't do the assignments, watch the videos, reset, change, or manage your account. I probably do manage your account first, then change your password second, then reset. But whatever order, make sure you watch these 3 videos. As a South Texas College STC student, make sure you understand the rules, the regulations, like all the ins and outs of the password, so that you know what to do, how to do it, and keep it all up to speed and up to date. And then if ultimately you're having trouble and you can't figure it out, then by all means, you do want to make sure that, okay, I'm having trouble, I can't figure it out. Well, then, my next call of action is going to be to call the technical assistance number and get some help, all right? So that is that. All right, now I'm going to go back to the main part of the course. Okay, I'm going to close out the password assistant. Now you're seeing the main part of the course. So I'll double check my notes here. That might be enough for today, and just kind of helping my students specifically. But all the things I'm addressing today, they're things that students are asking me like last week or yesterday. They're very current things that students are asking me about that seem to come up, and I haven't made a video with these particular things in this particular order, but I hope this helps all of my students enrolled in my current courses and enrolled in my future courses, as I leave some chapters in the description to help you navigate all that. Well, I think that does it for today. If I think of any more things, I'll make another video, Blackboard tips and tricks of, frequently asked questions, because that's, of course, can change organically over time. But I do hope this helps all my students enrolled, and anybody watching this video, whenever you watch it, today, tomorrow, or years from now. I don't know if probably won't still, maybe it's not relevant then, but I hope it helps for sure. So have a great, awesome day. I'm Professor Ron with Blackboard Tips and Tricks. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.